And so Camila ended up in the hands of the kidnappers. We weren't able to change that part. Lynn listened to my story without saying anything. I'm sorry. I wish there was something else we could have done.
No, you did the best you could. I'm sure she's alright, after all.
After all, she has me!
Hi, Missile. Why is there a tire in there now? Wasn't that a soccer ball earlier?
It was a basketball, but I swapped the basketball for that so it would knock the rugby ball out of the tree.
Oh.
The basketball wasn't heavy enough, so I swapped it with the tire so that it would knock it loose.
Missile, are you in there?
Miss Lynn, leave Miss Camila to me. I know I don't look like much right now, but I'm sure I can help her.
Missile.
Eek! Miss Lynn!
The troll is possessing things like leaves. I am going to leave it up to Missile because I don't have any other choice at the moment.
Nope, we have no idea where he even is anymore. But don't worry, he'll be fine. Kinda looks like Missile's being left up to the wind. Oh! I have something to give to you. Stop the park from being turned into a housing site. Protect the park, the Rock of the Gods.
Also, don't forget about the music box.
Aren't you forgetting your promise? Oh, pardon me, pardon me. My apologies. This is for you.
Oh.
And it just goes into her pocket of mystery.
You kept the music box safe, didn't you? Thank you.
Not at all. I was only doing what the Rock of the Gods would have wanted. I think he's having a stroke. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue?
He's mesmerized by my beauty. No, I think
he's got a concussion.
I would not be surprised. He got hit pretty hard, even if the head,
with the rugby
hair did provide a cushion. He was still knocked out cold, so yeah, he definitely has a concussion.
He was knocked out cold for several hours. Remember, it's 1:28 in the morning, and he got knocked out at around 8:35.
Oh yeah, he definitely has a concussion. He needs to go to the hospital.
And probably ants in his throat, considering he landed in the grass.
Or something in his throat. Hey, the cat's not allowed to get your tongue!
Excuse me, but are you... No, it couldn't be.
Have we met before?
Aren't you that little girl from that time? I'll never forget it. It was 10 years ago in this park.
10 years ago? Are you talking about... Oh, damn. Oh, damn, things keep piling up.
Here in the park, the gods surely control fate. Today, 10 years from that day, we meet once again. Oh, if that isn't the power of the gods, then what else is it?
Power of ghosts, apparently.
And pure coincidence. It could just, like I said, it could just be coincidence. But apparently you know our lady detective here. Could you tell us about what happened 10 years ago? Oh, yes, of course. I was actually just about to do that. Rock of the Gods or 10 years ago?
10 years ago, that seems pressing.
That day, I just happened to be passing through this park. I had no idea that day would change my destiny. The sun was going down, and through the gloom, I heard the scream of a little girl. I still love it when you do that. Now, just calm down and drop that weapon. Stay back. If you come any closer, I'll shoot her.
Actually, though, I can't actually see the kidnapper.
You'll find out. I peeked out fearfully from the bushes and saw some shadowy figures. I didn't see the face of the criminal clearly. I knew I should do something to help, but I just couldn't move. The tension was so thick it was painful, and just when I couldn't stand it any longer, that's when it happened. The sky suddenly burned bluish white.
A meteor shower?
Oh, yes.
Well, just a meteor.
A crystal meteor. When it crashed into the ground, the meteor gave off a shower of beautiful fragments. And then I saw it. One of those beautiful fragments pierced into the criminal's back. The judgment of the gods was brought down on the park that day. "10 years ago, the little girl that was you was saved by the Rock of the Gods."
Oh my! I can't believe it!
You know what this means, don't you?
Jared never killed him!
Nope, he never shot him. That loud crashing sound we heard every time Jowd remembered that day was the meteorite striking the criminal in the back.
But he must have thought it was the gun going off!
Something like that.
Oh damn, that's interesting.
The Rock of the Gods was given the name Temsik. And still today, it lies sleeping deep in the park's earth. And Rock.
Okay, time to talk about that little rock.
Yep. What's this Rock of the Gods you keep mentioning? Don't you know? It's right there in front of us.
That's where it landed?
Mm-hmm.
So...
Don't worry, all will be okay in the end, Tara.
Wait a minute. You say gODS. DS, but do you mean DOGS?
Of course not. Don't be silly. This is no time for ridiculous word games. You are standing just above the Rock of the Gods now. Take a good look at that monument.
Monuments?
The thing behind her. Rock of the Gods, Temsik Park.
The Rock of the Gods.
There it is, the Temsik
There
meteorite.
you are.
The rock is buried in the ground there. It's been there these 10 years. Ever since that day, it flew down from the heavens and showed us a miracle. A miracle?
So this rock you've been talking about is a meteorite?
Precisely! It dropped from the sky on that day 10 years ago. Yes, of course. Surely you know all about it.
Me?
And Temsik.
I never knew about this Temsik. I always thought that Mr. Jowd was the one who saved me. Well, I mean, technically he was.
Uh-huh, technically, yeah.
I mean, who knows what the kidnapper would have done if Jowd hadn't showed up and held him off long enough and, distracted him long enough for that meteorite to hit.
Yeah, he probably shot Lynn. I don't know. It's a good question. You were very young then, and you passed out from the shock of being taken hostage. Of course you wouldn't remember. But that's funny. A huge incident like that should have caused quite a stir. It's strange you never heard of it, Lynn.
It is, isn't it? But now that I think about it, I remember I didn't want to think about what happened. I don't blame her. She nearly died.
Yeah, that was probably very traumatizing. She probably has PTSD for that.
Yeah.
I know I would!
Yeah, I mean, if she hasn't gone to therapy, she really does. Actually, everybody in this game needs therapy.
Oh, yeah. Except maybe Missile.
I mean, Missile's a dog, so...
You can give dogs therapy.
Yeah, but I don't think he needs therapy for like the whole dying thing, because he seems to be taking that all that stuff very well.
Yep. Anyway, your turn.
I avoided the news and I never came back to this park again. That's why I didn't know anything about it.
The meteorite was named Temsic after the name of this park that it fell in. And then the Rock of the Gods was forgotten. Now an awful thing is happening. They're talking about turning the park into a housing site.
Yes, capitalism.
Something just fell in real life, and I don't know what it was. I'll never forget the miracle I witnessed that day, and so I've taken up residence in this park and am trying to appeal to the people. Protect the park! The Rock of the Gods! That is my mission!
You know, that also means, I mean, like, if he's doing it, he's probably not the only one who doesn't want this place to turn into a housing place. He could probably go and team up with other groups that are probably trying to stop it being turned into a housing park, just not for the same reasons.
Yeah, I mean, a meteorite strike site, I mean, you wouldn't just remove the meteorite if it was that important, you know?
Yeah, and even then, this place might have, like, you know, like, you have be a part of, you know, like, this particular city's culture and like, and there are probably a lot of other people who, for various reasons, don't want it to be turned into a housing place by soulless capitalists.
Like how the people of Aurora, Texas don't want anyone to dig up the site where an alien was supposedly buried.
Huh.
Yeah, there's supposedly an alien grave out in Aurora, Texas that is proven to have something buried down there, but due to the amount of years and the way it was buried, it's collapsed under there, so nobody knows if it's legit or not, and you're not allowed to dig there.
Huh! The world is just as weird as fiction, apparently.
Well, yeah, haven't you ever heard that phrase, truth is stranger than fiction?
Yep, and many times it's been proven true.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
I see.
From all the pictures I've seen of Temsic, it looks like it's made of crystal or diamond or something.
I'm taking you with me, Missile. It really does look like he has multiple tails.
Yeah, I think that's just a graphical glitch. They tried to... You know how puffy a Pomeranian's tail is supposed to be, so it's kind of hard to... It was kind of hard to do that for the DS, I suppose. So, 10 years ago, the little girl that was Lynn wasn't aware of the meteorite. But I get that, but Detective Jowd, on the other hand... There's no way he didn't know about this Temsic thing. And if he knew... And the man died. I took his life. What was that confession of his all about? The Rock of the Gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago changed the destinies of many people's lives, like the ripples on a pond when a pebble is dropped in.
A former literal version of that particular phrase?
Oh yeah. With every answer I get, I learn about a new mystery. Will I be able to break the chain of mysteries before dawn?
Wait a minute, I just had a weird thought.
Uh-huh.
We don't know how long Ray's been around, right?
Right.
Is it possible, and either he didn't know that the power to possess people and manipulate them was a thing, or he lied to us about that particular power?
Well,
is it possible he was lying about the whole disappearing at dawn thing, too?
All I'll say about that is yes, and he'll explain why later. That's the only spoiler you're getting from me. Mainly because I don't know how to work my way around that. Anyway, now that we have the evidence we need, we decided to meet up again at the minister's office. Besides, I think there's a few things I want to ask Detective Jowd.
We found the music box, Detective Jowd.
Good job, Lynn. I knew you would. Once everything had been resolved, I wanted you to give this to him.
Him? You mean Inspector Cabanella, right?
I don't suppose he'll ever forgive me.
Detective Jowd.
Now then, let's get this thing open. There's a certain knack to doing it, you know.
Just tear the whole thing open.
He calls that a knack, looks more like brute force to me. And there's the gun that shot Alma.
Congratulations, you've contaminated it with your fingerprints.
He did that already when he put it in there years ago.
True.
You should find scorch marks on the grip.
Scorch marks?
When Camila built her contraption, she used a special kind of string. It's a kind magicians use. It burns up in an instant and disappears.
Why would little Camila use something like that?
I don't know. Maybe because she's a detective's daughter. Not leaving any evidence behind and all that. In the case report, there was mention of some scorch marks.
I'm looking forward to never voicing him again.
I don't blame you.
The only reason I continue to do that voice is that's what he looks like.
When it happened, Camila was watching from her hiding place. She saw the flame run to the gun, something she naturally didn't include in her design. I took the gun out of the frame and replaced it with a picture. If you remove the picture, you should find scorch marks behind it on the frame too. And those marks should match up with the ones on the gun.
In other words...
It proves the contraption existed there in that room that day.
The murder machine.
And it didn't work the way your little girl intended, is that right? Exactly. Some cowardly culprit modified the design. But that angle was never brought up in court! And so, as Justice Minister, I must call off the execution at this point.
Yes! I knew I was right. It wasn't Detective Jowd. Now we can finally prove that. If it was a ghost, how can we prove it was a ghost? Since it's probably not widely.
You'll see.
Thank goodness.
Thank you, Lynn. In those eyes of yours, I see the eyes of that little girl from 10 years ago.
Trick time.
Now time to tell him about the fact that he didn't actually kill anybody.
Yep.
That should be an interesting reaction.
Sissel, if you hadn't come to my cell tonight, I would be gone by now, without ever having known of any of this. This is what I deserve. That's what I told myself these past 5 years. But things are different now. Thanks to you, my eyes have finally been opened.
Tonight, I've come into contact with a lot of people's lives, and gotten involved in their fates. And the only reason I was doing it was to gain my own lost memory. But things are different now. We're connected to each other somehow, I just know it.
Character development!
And that's why I need to ask you a few more questions, in order to find out the truth about us.
Fair enough, fire away.
Manipulator, Camila's contraption, or Temsic?
Let's go ahead and start off with Temsic.
Detective Jowd, you must have heard this name before. Temsic? The meteorite that fell in the park 10 years ago, you were there.
So you found out about that, did you?
I hear that meteorite was saved that little Lynn's life.
That's right. I couldn't do anything to help Lynn that day.
And in that case, I don't get it. If it's true that you didn't mean... If it's true, doesn't it mean you didn't steal someone's life away?
What are you talking about?
Detective Jowd, you told me that 10 years ago, the person who killed the perpetrator in the park was you.
What? Where was the meteorite?
I wasn't lying. I stole that man's life away, no question about it. It was entirely my fault.
Does he blame himself for the damn meteorite?
I was just about to shoot him. I would have shot him in the next instant if the meteorite hadn't come. And at that point, I was already a murderer.
No, it wasn't. He hadn't killed anybody yet. That's not how it works.
Yeah, that would be at best attempted murder.
And even then, they wouldn't be able to prove that Jack had been about to shoot him.
Yeah.
That's not true. You were trying to save me.
Lynn, I'm sorry, but I don't think that's really it.
Okay, I guess we're gonna go from one of these two now.
Let's do manipulator, chameleon attraction, and whatever else comes up. Cecil told me all about it, Detective Dowd. About the manipulator.
Yes, and it looks like this manipulator really did a number on the minister, too. Ah!
Hi there.
Please don't pick on the minister. If he dies again, I'm the one who has to save him.
Oh!
Cecil, do you think that's what happened to me too?
What are you talking about, Lynn? Don't tell me. You were manipulated, too!
Probably.
That's yours.
There was always a part of me that just couldn't believe it.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's mine. I'm so sorry. That image of one who shot me. And now I see the possibility of a new explanation. I really wish they would have a picture to know who's who.
Or at the very least a name tag. But who is it? And why would they do this?
Okay, Camila's contraption.
That contraption was a birthday surprise for Camila's mother, wasn't it?
That's right!
Something's been bothering me about it. I feel like I know that device from somewhere. Oh yeah, you died to it once.
No surprise there. You lost your life once tonight because of that machine.
Right? I knew it! See, Detective Job?
No, I'm afraid I don't see.
I told Detective Jowd about it. Told him about seeing the exact same contraption tonight in a completely different place.
That's very strange indeed.
Sorry, I forgot. I momentarily had a lapse in... Anyway.
A junkyard on the edge of town. I've never even heard of the place. And what's more, I've never told a single soul about that contraption.
Lynn?
Did my voice not hear me?
No, you were completely silent for a few seconds.
Oh, sorry, you haven't?
That old pigeon guy. Who in the world is he? And the truth about 10 years ago.
On that day, 10 years ago, a different incident happened in another place.
Another place?
Yes, in the police headquarters interrogation room. The worst sort of incident, a suspect who is being questioned escaped.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
I happened to be there in the detective division, so I joined the chase. Fortunately, or I guess unfortunately, I was able to track him down alone in the park.
Oh, so he's who kidnapped Lynn.
Hold it right there!
Yeah.
I fired a warning shot. I wanted to catch him bad. And that warning shot made him panic. At that time, I was young and green detective brandishing my sense of justice like a sword. I made him panic and got you involved, Lynn. It was all my fault.
He might have done it anyway. He was probably already panicked. Detective Jowd.
All I could see was my target. I couldn't even see you. I'm so sorry, Lynn.
So the man who grabbed me died that wet day through no fault of Jowd's.
Slash 10
He
years.
might have died anyway. That meant you had a lot of shards. It doesn't hit him either way.
Yeah.
These last 10 years, I've never forgotten his face. And then a few years after that, when my wife Alma died in such a mysterious way, I thought it was fate, my punishment for what I had done. I painted pictures in my cell, nothing but portraits of people's faces. All the faces of the many people I'd met in my life and didn't want to forget. And tonight, I finished my last portrait, the final face I wanted to remember. The final face. The face of the man in the park that day.
Wait just one... Wait just 1 minute. That can't be. I saw that painting. I saw the face you painted tonight.
What the fuck?
It was my face. Are you telling me that I was the man in the park that time?
That's right.
Things have gotten so much thicker, oh god.
I told you it would.
That face of yours is the face that I saw 10 years ago. The face of the man whose life I stole and the man who was pronounced dead at the scene.
We died tonight! But hold on, Detective Town! That can't be true! I just met Sizzle for the first time tonight! And he died right in front of me, and I might have been the one to shoot him.
By the way, the name I know the man in the park that... By the way, the name that I know the man in the park that day by isn't Sissel.
What?
From the first minute I laid eyes on you tonight, I've been wondering, who in the world is this guy?
Hello.
Mr. Minister. Inspector Cabanilla, where are you?
Just be quiet and listen. This is our demand.
Oh god!
What? Demand?
Our demand hasn't changed. The execution must be tonight.
Oh god, he's possessed!
Once we've confirmed it's been carried out, we will release the hostage.
What are you talking about, Inspector Cabanilla?
That's not Cabanilla!
And you know it wasn't my daughter who was abducted.
Does it really matter who the hostage is? A laugh is a laugh. Even if it's the daughter of a death row prisoner. Once the criminal gets the punishment he deserves, the hostage will go free. Carry out the execution immediately, and wait for our call.
He's been manipulated, he's possessed. Shit. What is it, Mr. Minister? He's been paler than ever. Things have gone from 100 to 1,000.
Oh yeah.
What in the world? What's going on? Inspector Cabanilla!
I'm okay. The rock of the gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago twisted the fate of many people and started a chain of tragic events. And even now, the chain continues to grow longer. Inspector Cabanilla's call proved that to us. And the greatest mystery of all has risen to the surface. Who is this me that I've been chasing all night? Who am I? I'm even further from knowing than when I started! And that does it for this episode of Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. Oh, this has gone from 100 to 1,000 in record time, hasn't it?
Yeah!
Anyways, thank y'all for watching. Leave us a like. If you're new around here, subscribe. Tara and I will see you next time.
Oh yeah, MJFK from Clone High, and I am telling you to subscribe to the Geeky Skunk Gamer and his friends Geo Joe 2000 and Luigi Fan 891.